Hey everyone, welcome to Saturday Night Popcorn. This is Jason.
And this is Kai, and we have another great discussion for you today. The movie of the day, we're still in our cuffing season rom-com era for January 24. But the movie is The Big Sick from 2017. It's not very new, kind of new, but still want to give everyone a spoiler warning just in case you haven't seen it before we start.
Right. And we typically like to start off with a little summary of the film. So The Big Sick is a 2017 romantic comedy film based on the real-life relationship of Kumail and Emily. Kumail is a Pakistani American comedian who falls in love with Emily, a white American graduate student. However, their cultural differences and family expectations create conflicts and challenges for the relationship. When Emily contracts a mysterious and life-threatening illness, Kumail has to face her parents, his own parents, and his true feelings for her. The film is a heartfelt and hilarious exploration of love, identity, and family in the modern world. And I think that's a very poignant kind of summary of the film and stuff. And this is a real the supposedly it's based on the true kind of like interaction of Kumail and his wife, his future wife, and stuff, and what happens, which is like a roller coaster.
Yeah,
right?
It was a nightmare. So I guess that's my first question: is do you think you could have done that? Because the way they met was it was organic, super organic at the comedy club. She was heckling him, as he said, and then went on a couple dates. They broke up, and then it was like, "Oh, hey, I need you at the hospital. Such and such happened to Emily." Do you think if you were in the same situation as Kumail, do you think you could have done that? You could have stuck it out?
It's funny because I have like a different version of the same question, basically, but
Okay.
In terms of, I think no matter what, like Patty's sitting right next to me and stuff, and so I've been with Patty for quite a long time, and I think when you know that that's the person that you kind of want to spend a long time with and stuff, and kind of move on to that next attempt at like that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you will, and I think you'll kind of fight the same way that Kumail does, and in terms of like Emily's parents are like, I don't want to talk to you at first.
Yeah.
And especially Emily's mom being the one that says like, you're not pertinent to this whole situation, so please leave.
Like, why are you here? Like, get out of here.
Yeah, so I think if you really understand in your like mind that this is the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, I think you will do that. And it's a very tough way to kind of understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I will, if it's the right person. I think if it was Patty, I think I will definitely do that. Yourself?
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, if it's the person that I know, like, okay, I can't see myself without this person, like, for sure, I'm going to hell and back.
Yeah, and it's difficult to find out until you're in that situation. Yeah. And it was really Patty's question in the moment when she's like seeing the reaction of like Emily's parents and how Emily's parents kind of like differed in their reaction to everything. Where Emily's dad is Ray Romano, which I think was like the best selection for a person to be casted as. Where he's more of like, yeah, let's just hang out and stuff, and like, there's no shame of you eating. Like, don't eat by yourself. Come eat with us, even though my wife does not want to talk to you right now, and all this stuff. Where
guts,
yeah, where the mom or the wife in that moment and stuff is like, she is a firecracker, so to speak, and stuff. And so my question is, and Patty brought it up. She was like, how do you see your understanding of like, is it more of a situational thing, like which parent you'll be in that moment? Are you the one that kind of is like Emily's mom, where it's like, I don't want to talk to anybody, I'm just gonna like battle through this in my own kind of like little like, I'm gonna figure out everything myself or something? Or be like Emily's dad, where it's like, hey, this sucks, but like everything else kind of sucks also, but let's just kind of share in this crappy situation.
I think I would be right in the middle, because like my typical demeanor is like laid back, but in certain situations, like my energy changes. So I think if it came to like my child being in a vulnerable state where I can't be the one that protects them, I think I would be right in the middle of like, okay, if I need to be the mom, I'm going to be the mom. But then in situations where that isn't necessary, I'm going to be the dad. I'm going to be laid back. Okay, like these are professionals. They know what they should know what they're doing. We did watch Doctor Death, um, so they should know what they're doing. So I'm going to let them handle it. So yeah, I'd be right in that middle, I think.
Yeah, and it's like I think it's more in the moment where it's like, all right, like
Yeah.
I have no clue. Patty's the one that's typically the firecracker, where it's like Patty is definitely that person that like in the heat of the moment, like how the Emily's mom reacts to the whole ISIS thing in the comedy club.
Mm-hmm.
Patty is the one that would be like, I'm there. I'm gonna point you out and be like, why? Why'd you say
Yeah.
that?
That was actually my favorite scene in the movie too.
Right. It was amazing and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like that is definitely an aspect of comedy too, is stand-up comedy, that I think a lot of people do deal with even still today. And so I
Yeah.
think it was like a nice melding of the two worlds, like stand-up comedy, but also you have this like falling in love, but then this traumatic experience that you're also
Yeah.
falling in love with and stuff, and like it's an awkward situation.
And that's the first meeting of the parents, and you're like, okay.
Right.
Like you're in the hospital. You broke up with my daughter, but you're in the hospital with her. Like, what the heck is going
Yeah,
on?
and potentially she's dying, basically.
Yeah.
And
Like, that would be
I,
so much. That would be so like,
yeah,
yeah.
I think that's the thing. I typically ask you like, what's the best part of this movie for you, or like, what's your favorite part of this movie?
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, it's the story. No matter what,
Yeah.
it's the story that you're like almost enthralled by. Like, this really happened. This like sucks. He's
Yeah.
trying to get on with his life afterwards too, where like she kind of like recovers from the whole situation, and then she's like, I don't like the whole her like sentence where it's like, you changed, but just so happened that I was asleep throughout the whole time that
Mm-hmm.
you've changed. So that really doesn't help me in this situation. And so you see both sides of the coin, but then you're like, man, like how the hell? And then it's just, but you see it at the end where it's like, if they both really liked each other and wanted to spend the rest of their lives with each other,
Yeah.
then it will move forward and stuff, or like life finds a way, so to speak, with like a Jurassic Park sentence.
And I liked that they showed both sides. I like that they showed that his family was very traditional, and so they were trying to set him up. And I love that the mom kept saying, "Oh, they just dropped in." Like
Right.
she had set all this up, and she's like, "Oh no, this person just dropped in." So I enjoyed that, like watching his family trying to figure out, like, okay, who are we gonna arrange our son with, and then also seeing like he has a whole life outside of that. He met somebody that he feels is going to be his future wife, and then this happens to her, so he has to figure out how to navigate through that.
Yeah, you see a lot of things where it's like you learn that Pakistan has a strong tradition of arranged marriages,
Mm-hmm.
and especially even with families that come from Pakistan into America and stuff, they still try to keep the tradition of arranged marriages. You see that a lot of that is like they explain that we build love, and it's like we may not know each other at the beginning, but we become best friends. And a good example is his brother
Yeah.
with his wife and stuff. I liked his like joking around with his mom, where it's like, yeah, you hit it out of the ballpark with my brother's wife and everything, but what's going on? You're just like hitting duds with me right now.
Because he had multiple, like, it was what, three, four, maybe five different women that
I don't
just
know.
dropped in. Like, I was like, goodness
He had a
gracious.
serial killer box and everything. Like I was like, that
Oh
that
yeah,
box
that
of all
was
those photos.
funny.
It was either he's a
Yeah,
serial killer and those are all the women he's killed,
these are my
or
trophy.
yeah, yeah. You have no other way of explaining that. Like,
Well, that's what happened with when Emily found it. She was like, "What?
right?
What is this? Like, what is this? These are victims just stacking photos of."
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
really liked
goodness.
it. This is actually the second time I'm seeing this, and to be honest, I think I saw it like early in the pandemic. Like Patty and I were like, everything's closed down and all this stuff, so we're like, let's just watch a movie and stuff, and so stuff like this came up and stuff, and we did watch this quite some time ago, and so this is my second time around watching this, and this is your first time, right? You've never seen this.
Yeah. So, and that's the one thing. Like, I remember seeing the trailer or seeing like at least the name in the poster. I don't know if I saw the trailer, but the name threw me off. And so when it first came out, I was like, oh, that name, like that, I don't know if I want to watch that. Like, I'll wait. And then I heard like what it was about, and I was like, that's the name and that's what the movie's about? It's like, I'm skeptical. But then once you suggested like, hey, we should watch it, I'm happy you suggested it because I truly enjoyed it.
I think it does fit the whole rom-com
Oh yeah.
kind of theme that we're trying to go for, because this is a very traditional rom-com, and but it just kind of hits a little different because it is a true story of someone going through this experience. So I don't know, I enjoyed it. What do you find as like a negative to this, and like with this movie?
Ooh, what would be a negative? I don't know. Because like the cinematography was good, the story was good, the pacing, like
Yeah,
this
actually,
was
the pacing is pretty good.
under 2 hours, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
No,
think
this
I
was
would say
like
like
at
an
two
hour.
hours. I think it was like two,
Yeah.
almost exactly two. Yeah, off the top of my, I don't even in my notes, like I was more just watching and enjoying as everything kind of played out. I didn't have any dislikes.
It's funny because I think it's because this is the second time I'm watching it. I think
Hmm.
this is a movie that once you watch it once, you're probably never going to want to watch it again.
Yeah,
Uh, and so because it's like, even though there's some movies out there, you're like, once you know the ending, you still want to watch it because you're like, how did the hell
yep.
did I get there? What's the mystery and stuff? This one, you know the story once you're going through it again, and you know that she gets the sickness and she ends up recovering and stuff
Hmm.
afterwards, and they kind of go along with their lives. So I think that's my only downside, where it's like I think you watch it once and you're probably good because you'll come out with this experience and like it's very heartfelt. You're like, all right, this is a good rom com and everything. Kumail is a very funny person and everything, and all this stuff. And the lady that plays the future wife is a good representation. Hopefully, is a good representation of the true wife that Kumail ends up marrying in real life. So, but I think watching it a second time, you're like, all right, well, you're kind of like sometimes it can,
Like
you
drag.
already know, like drag on, I guess.
Yeah.
You already know because it's like, all right, you know where things are gonna go. That's my only downside.
Okay. Which isn't bad. Like you watched it a second time and it was like you
Yeah,
still
that's true.
enjoyed it, but
Yeah, I still laughed at things and everything.
yeah.
Ray Romano, I think, is perfect. The
Hmm.
mom ends up
The mom
becoming
was
a good
great too.
character. She's
Yeah.
amazing and stuff. And I think those are shining points too, because I think those three main characters, Kamal and the two parents, are like
Hmm.
perfect. His
Even
parents,
Kamal's parents. Yeah.
Kamal's parents are pretty
Kamal's
funny. Where
parents were
it's
good too.
like the whole aspect of like, oh, she just dropped in.
She's
Like,
dropped
oh
in.
yeah,
It's
but she
like,
came
yo,
with a picture and a piece of paper
yes.
with like. So that whole I don't know. I think yeah, I enjoy this a little bit more, but it is a very basic. I don't know, not basic. There's that whole aspect of her almost dying, but it
Hmm.
is a very like a Hallmark channel like movie, not like a Hallmark channel
Yeah. I
movie.
think like a well done.
Yeah, it like
Yeah.
it wraps itself in a bow
Hmm.
fairly perfectly. As Patty's passed me a note right now, it's typical. It's a very typical and kind of like
Typical rom com.
yeah, it is,
Yeah.
and so I think that is very true to it.
But you need those sometimes. Like Punch Drunk Love wasn't like that.
No,
City Lights was kind of like that. This was, I think, the one that has been the typical or prototype rom com.
I think so. Yeah, if
Yeah,
you're looking for a rom com, this is it, and it's on
yeah.
Amazon Prime and stuff, and so like, who would you recommend this to? Anybody that's like looking for a typical rom com and just wants a fun
Yeah.
time, I think.
Anyone that's willing to laugh and cry while watching a movie, potentially cry. They may not cry.
Or at least kind of just feel heartfelt that like, oh shit,
Yeah,
she might die.
yeah. Anyone that's ready for a roller coaster, like,
Right? I think so. I think my parents will actually like this more so than my like I kind of always flip flop. Like, am I gonna recommend this to my brothers? Am I gonna recommend
mhm.
this to my parents? I think my mom will actually probably enjoy this quite a bit. because she likes those Hallmark kind of like everyone falls in love after like a meet cute, or
Yeah.
they're shopping for like their Christmas trees and stuff, and they bump into somebody. And so this is exactly that and
Yes.
everything. It's just with the added spice of that she's almost about to die and stuff.
Yes.
And so, but I think my mom would like this a lot. My dad would like it, I think, because of Ray Romano and the character of the mom and stuff,
Yeah.
because like they add some extra flavor too.
There's something for everybody in this movie.
I think so. I think so. There's humor, there's some darkness and stuff, and like
Yeah.
reflection of that and everything. But
Well, even that's the one thing we didn't touch on is the friends, the other comedians. The other
right,
comedians added a lot to the show too, or the movie too.
yeah,
So yeah, there's truly something for everybody in this.
I think so. And I think yeah, I think anybody could sit down and watch this and enjoy it.
Hmm.
Now that's a big question because it's like, or that's a big point. It's like, will you buy this for your personal movie collection?
Oh,
Even though
that's a
you
good
don't need to,
question.
basically.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I would, but it's one of those ones that you wait, like you did. Like I would wait a couple years before I watched it again because I know the story.
Hmm.
But I think I would add it. Like I enjoyed it enough that I would be like, yeah, I could watch this. It would be down the line, but I could watch this again.
I think so. Yeah, even though you don't need to, Amazon right now is thinking about adding some like advertisements to Prime, so you may want to buy it. But
Mm,
yeah, I don't know. I probably don't see myself as I'm not gonna watch this probably a third time around because I'm gonna be
yeah.
like, oh no, I don't know. Is she gonna die or is she gonna not die? Yeah.
Just put a twist on it yourself.
But I am glad that I watched it
Yeah.
twice and stuff, and so I have watched it a second time. But I probably won't buy it for my personal movie collection. I would probably be like, I've seen it, and I'm glad
Mm.
it's logged in my phone and stuff, and that I've seen it. What'd you
Oh,
end up
I could do
rating the
that.
movie?
I still have to add it to my list, but I give it a 4.5. I think
Yeah,
leaning more towards a 4.5 because I truly enjoyed this.
that's cool because I think it is because of the second time I've seen this. I gave it a solid 3. I was like, it's probably because I knew what was going on with the story and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I did have laughs, but I gave it as like a solid 3, maybe a 3.5. I probably would because it's some of the other characters that are around. But yeah, I do kind of like would say a 3 star for me.
Would you give it your first time watching it?
I don't know actually. I should have looked that up before I came on the. I'll look it up later. But I think I did kind of have it like a 4, and maybe back then I wasn't even rating movies because I
Oh
saw it
yeah.
so long ago and stuff. Uh, but I can see myself giving it a 4 the first time around.
Mm-hmm.
But
Because I
but
could see you giving it a 4.5.
because
You watching it the
I
first
enjoy rom
time.
coms quite a bit. I guess I don't know. Like most of the movies that I enjoyed the most out of this time that we've been doing this podcast have been rom coms,
That
or
is the
like
truth, though.
just things that I want to see people fall in love and everything. But yeah, so it's interesting. But if you want to take us out,
You normally take us out, but we can switch it up.
no, you do.
Oh, I normally do. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the behind the scenes nobody gets. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Saturday Night Popcorn. I'm Kai.
And I'm Jason, and we'll see you next week with another one. Please let us know if you've seen this movie, The Big Sick, in the comments below. If you liked it, disliked it, any things you liked about it. And please let us like and subscribe to Saturday Night Popcorn on YouTube for more videos like this one.